Does this look too busy for one slide? I have like the sequence of it in CHS.
You can't text him, so you might as well
Okay, what I'm going to do right now is go through his family tree. I'm not sure why I have this gray box up here. So you can write these on the bottom, and I'm going to give you one author's version of King Arthur's his life. So we're going to start out with the Duke of Cornwall. Who is married to Lady Igraine. And he is fighting with King Uther. So these two men are fighting, and they finally decide they want to have a peace. They want to quit fighting and have peace. So they get together, and the Duke of Cornwall introduces his wife, Lady Igraine, to King Uther, and King Uther immediately wants her. He lusts after her. He wants her. And the Duke of Cornwall sees it in his eyes, and so they start fighting again. Well, King Uther still wants Lady Igraine, and so he goes to Merlin, the wizard, and he says, Merlin, what do I need to do to spend the night with Lady Igraine? Well, Merlin doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but he finally says, okay, because Merlin wants King Uther to be a good king, but he's not. He's not a good king. So finally Merlin says, okay, here's the deal. I will let you sleep with Lady Igraine, but I get the product of, it gets better. I get the product of your loins. Well, what would be the product of your loins? The child. Oh. You have a child, I get it. And King Uther's like, I don't care. Yeah, no problem. He agrees to it. So, Merlin uses his magic. Well, first of all, so the Duke of Cornwall leaves to go fight. He leaves to go fight. And Merlin uses his magic to make King Uther look like the Duke of Cornwall. So he goes right into the castle, they open the gate, he goes in, and he spends the night with Lady Igraine. She thinks that means they're not married. She thinks it's her husband. Well, in the meantime, he gets killed in battle. So the next day, they bring back his dead body, and she goes, how could that be? He was with me last night. So she figures out it wasn't her husband. Well, I forgot one thing. Oops. The Duke of Cornwall and Lady Igraine have a daughter who is very important. Yeah. And again, it depends on who you're reading. In some stories, she's called Morgana. In some stories, she's called, oops, that's not right. In some stories, she's called Morgan Le Fay. And in some stories, she's called Morgase. She's about 9 years old when this happens, 8 or 9. Okay, so they have a daughter. Well, of course, Lady Igraine's going to get pregnant. And her child is King Arthur. Now, remember the deal? What was the deal?
Merlin gets him.
I get him. So Merlin comes, takes the baby, and raises him. Because he still wants a good king. So he takes Arthur and he raises him to be a good king. Well, Arthur doesn't know he's a king. Because Merlin doesn't tell him. His father was a king, so therefore he would be a king. Well, anyway, eventually it comes out that he is the son of King Uther and he becomes the king. Now, Morgan Le Fay is very jealous because what's their relationship? They're half. No, they're half. They have the same mother. They'd be half brother, half sister. Well, she's really jealous because she's like, why does he have all the power? You know, she wants some of the power. Well, in the meantime, she gets married to... Actually, I'm not even going to talk about her getting married. We're not going to put that in the story. I'm not going to include that. Yeah, we're not going to put that. All right. So, King Arthur marries Guinevere, which we just had. She becomes a king. And again, there's a lot of different spellings of that. I don't think I even got I-N. There's a lot of different spellings of Guinevere. Well, the two of them are never able to have children, so there's no heir to the throne. But Morgan Le Fay is jealous because he's the king, and she learns a little trickery herself. She learns a little sorcery. And so she disguises herself to look like Guinevere and sleeps with her dear brother. I tell you, it's a twisted family tree. So they sleep together, and ta-da-da-da, she has a son. and his name is Mordred. So what does that make Mordred?
Messed up child.
It makes him the heir to the throne. It makes him the heir to the throne. Mordred is not a good person. He's very, very evil. And can I back up? I need to back up. I'm going to back up and give you another name. I'm going to back way up. When Merlin took Arthur, he took him to a knight called Sir Ector. And Sir Ector, who had a son named Sir Kay, Sir Ector actually raised him. He brought him up until he pulled the sword out of the stone. And we're going to read this story where Sir Ector and Sir Kay go to this place and they find the sword in the stone that he pulls out. Okay, so that's really long before he got married. Anyway, he marries Guinevere. They don't have any children. He sleeps with Morgan Le Fay without knowing it and has a son named Mordred who is very, very evil. He grows up to be evil. In the meantime, Guinevere falls in love with
King Uther.
Sir Lancelot,
Oh my God.
who is married to Lady Elaine,
I don't know what happened.
and they have a son called Sir Galahad.
That's a little quick.
Wait, what happened? Can we just like go back to that?
All right, so she falls in love with Lancelot, who is married to Lady Elaine, who has a son named Sir Galahad. All right, there's two things that lead to the downfall of Camelot. One of them was Lancelot and Guinevere get caught.
Affairs.
Lancelot and Guinevere get caught. That starts it. And then Mordred comes and says, I want the castle. And they have a big battle. So those two things really cut in the legend of Camelot.
Isn't Mordred also a sorcerer? They had
Poke one of the
Well, he
women
probably
in
might a little
Ophelia
bit, he might
take
so.
over and bleed out.
Lancelot's kid is Sir Galahad. And in most legends, Galahad is the pure. In a lot of legends, he's the one that finds the Holy Grail. But we're not going to read any of that story.
We're gonna watch that one.
What is Lady Elaine?
Lady Elaine is Lancelot's wife. And we'll see her and anyway, it's kind of a twisted little story. But those are some of the key characters that you're going to need to know about.
In this story, is Guinevere like a maid? Because a lot of the ones I've seen, like she's not noble born. She's kind of a maid.
You know, in the movie we're going to watch, it doesn't really say, and I don't know if anything we're reading it really says either.
I just wondered.
Many people wrote it. Many people wrote it. I'm trying to decide what we have time to do here. What do we have? 10 minutes?
I'll start watching.
Because I have a PowerPoint I'd like to do, but I don't know if we can get through it. I think I'll try to do this PowerPoint. Okay, we're going to do one more PowerPoint here that tells more about the legend.
Can you blow it up with a holy hand grenade?
They blow up the bunny.
I get in.
They waste it. They pull across.
I can't figure out why I have this gray thing at the top here.
As the world turns.
All right, want to talk a little bit more about myths and legends. Myths are traditional stories rooted in a particular culture. A myth is basically religious in nature, serves to explain beliefs, rituals, or natural phenomenon, and reveals the ideals and values of a society. Throughout history, people have used myths, and we're not going to read myths. I should just skip some of this. They've used myths to explain the creation of the world, events and elements in nature, and ancient religious beliefs and practices. A legend, which is what King Arthur is, a legend is a story about extraordinary deeds based on a real historical figure or event or person. So they think there was some man that King Arthur was modeled after, but the story has been so exaggerated over time, we don't really know what was true or what was not. What legend is this? Paul Bunyan. There was probably some great woodsman, but the story has become so exaggerated, you don't really know. Because legends are told and retold, they often take on fantastic supernatural events. Let's get that. In myths and legends, a hero or heroine is extraordinary in several ways. In a myth, the hero is often descended from a god. The hero faces a seemingly impossible task, and he or she accepts the task with courage, ingenuity, and often superhuman strength. Heroes often set out on a quest. And this was in the King Arthur. The quest was for the Holy Grail, a journey or a test to find something of great significance. In Greek mythology, the hero Theseus goes on a quest to slay the Minotaur, a monster devouring the youth of Athens. We're going to skip this because we're not going to read. There's some in your book, but we're not going to read them. And the Arthurian legend are stories about King Arthur and the brave, powerful, and adventurous knights of the Round Table. The medieval hero King Arthur was considered a great fighter and defender of his land. The Arthurian legend are probably based on a 5th or 6th century Celtic chieftain who lived in Wales. And the people were the first main culture inhabiting Central and Western Europe. Why are we packing up? Is the bell ringing or something? Everyone's over here packing up like we're leaving. Dominating the area, they pass on their custom, their religion, as well as their language to other ethnic groups in their religion. And then Wales, a little map here. See Great
Oh,
Britain,
it's like a whale.
and there's Wales.
That's why they call it.
The following excerpt describes Arthur's first heroic task, pulling a sword out of the stone in which it had been lodged. Why, said Arthur, do you kneel before me? My lord, Sir Ector replied, there is only one man living who can draw the sword from the stone, and he is the true-born king of Britain.
So that's how he figures out. Or did
Yeah,
like,
he didn't even know. He's
did
like,
his parents like sit down with him one night? Listen.
they're all dead. Well,
Well, I mean, like the ones that raised
Luther is
him.
very, very sick.
Luther, I think Luther's
Listen,
dead.
you're
Yeah,
a less
like,
than a
listen,
child.
listen.
You're a king somehow.
We'll watch the show.
You're a real kid,
You're in
so,
red.
The legends of King Arthur are part of the legends of King Arthur are part of a larger genre of romantic literature. These legends developed in 12th century England and France and focused on the adventures of knights and other heroes. Now, the difference in the two words here. The term romantic, when it's capitalized, and romantic lowercase have different meanings. A love story, one of several genres of entertainment, is the lowercase. But literature, the type of literature, refers to tales and legends coming from the era of King Arthur, is capitalized. We've got some notes to take here. I'm trying to decide if we're going to have time for these notes. Maybe I should do the notes tomorrow. I think we'll stop here and I'll do the notes. I've got an assignment for you.
Hopefully she's got a knife. She was gonna cut
Figuring
us
she's
off.
gonna cut his head off.
Right after the inbred.
I got there for the water.
Well,
I was like, you're doing.
what did I say?
It's the last thing.
David, Snapchat me.